On Sports Corner, the Ohio State Buckeyes dominated the UCLA Bruins over the weekend. We have what went down at the Shoe coming up.
Over in the NFL, the Ravens flopped Cleveland at Huntington Bank Stadium for an AFC matchup. We have the breakdown on how Lamar Jackson and the Ravens pulled off this win.
Heading over to the NBA, the Grizzlies traveled up north to take on the Cavaliers. We have the details and so much more as a brand new episode of Sports Corner starts right now. From the Franklin Hall studio on the campus of Kent State University, this is Sports Corner alongside Maddox Miller. I'm Evan Schofield. Now, Maddox, while the wagon wheel took place last Tuesday, there's a few more sports here on campus to cover.
That is right, Evan. And before we get to the wagon wheel, we're actually going to wrap up some volleyball as the Kent State volleyball team finish up their season with a game against Northern Illinois on Saturday. All three seniors were recognized after the game and were in the starting lineup. Mackenzie McGuire finished the game with 11 kills, ending her career in 6th for the all-time kill list for the Flashes with 1,280. Paige McGee finished her final game with a season best of 5 kills, and Greta Bolanini finished with 8 digs. Despite the impressive performance from the seniors, the Flashes fell to Northern Illinois 1-3.
And if somehow you didn't know, the Kent State Golden Flashes were able to bring home the wagon wheel in an overtime victory over the Akron Zips on the Tuesday night rivalry matchup at InfoCision Stadium. After a back and forth all game, the Flashes appeared to pull ahead with a 3-possession lead early in the fourth quarter. However, in Flashes fashion, the Zips scored 18 unanswered points in the final 10 minutes, sending the game into overtime. From the Akron 25, quarterback Drew DeShields launched the ball down the right sideline to find Ardell Banks to take back the lead. Akron had one last chance to score, but the Flashes defense was too strong, stopping the Zips from scoring and bringing home the wagon wheel back to Kent for the first time since 2022.
And staying with the wagon wheel, Kent State's Drew DeShields, Mason Woods, and Charlie Durkin all earned MAC Players of the Week following their overtime victory against Akron last Tuesday. DeShields was named Offensive Player of the Week after throwing 317 yards and 5 touchdowns to bring home the wagon wheel. DeShields was also named for the Manning Award Stars of the Week as well as the Davey O'Brien Great 8. Mason Woods was named Co-Defensive Player of the Week after putting up 13 tackles against the Zips, and Charlie Durkin was named Special Teams Player of the Week after punting the ball 6 times, totaling 245 yards. The Flashes return on Wednesday for their last game at Dick Stadium against Central Michigan. Kickoff is at 7.
So, feels like an eternity since the wagon wheel has really, we've played it, but Kent State is back, and they won under Coach Carney. They got an overtime win. What are your general thoughts about this?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned in Flashes fashion how they gave up 18 unanswered, but this is a different Flashes team. Sure. They're able to overcome things like that, and that is what a winning football team does. To beat Akron in the fashion that they did, obviously you don't want to go to overtime. You want to blow them out, but Akron had all the momentum going in that overtime, and then it felt like on both sides of the ball, after lulling in that fourth quarter, the offense and the defense just woke up, and it was when it mattered most, and that is what other Flashes teams have not had, and this is a marquee win for this Kent team. First road win as well in the same amount of time as to get the wagon wheel back.
It's very impressive, especially Coach Carney. I was at the interview after, and he appreciated the guys, the effort from the guys, especially from quarterback Drew DeShields. I mean, what else can you say about DeShields? 17 for 25, 317, 5 touchdown passes. He hit all of his guys. Like I've been saying for the past 2 weeks, you spread the ball around with Akron. Akron couldn't keep up all game. They left so many guys open throughout the game, and he spread the ball around well, which I really appreciated.
Yeah, no, and it's 5 touchdowns to 5 different receivers, which is just not a lot of quarterbacks can do that. He's hitting his vertical stuff. He hit that beautiful screen pass on the 3rd down to get a touchdown. It was a phenomenal game from him. Obviously, there was the running fumble that maybe messed things up a little bit, but with the win, people don't have to harp on that as much. It was a great passing game from DeShields. I say with this win against Akron and getting their 4th win of the season, despite or regardless of what happens the rest of the way, this season is a massive success.
I agree. You know, being bowl eligible possibly is always on the table for them. You know, and if you allow me to switch to the defense for a second,
go right ahead.
Talk about them for a second. Now, at first, it seemed like they had a pretty. They would stop them occasionally. You know, like I said, they were up 18. Now they allowed Akron to come back. Especially, I want to note that late touchdown right before the half. I think.
Yes.
You can't allow that.
No.
A quarterback, he lobs it up in the air. Receiver comes down with it. DB's not even looking in the direction of the ball. Those are simple mistakes you can't have as we go into Central Michigan and Northern Illinois to finish out the year for the Flashes.
No, absolutely. And very quickly on the defense, I will give them their flowers, though.
Yes.
Akron had the ball on the 1 yard line. And if they score that touchdown, instead of being held to a field goal, if Akron gets the ball back again and scores a touchdown, they win the game.
Yeah.
Akron wins the game. And so that goal line stand is pivotal and just an all-around. The punt, forced a fumble on the punt, just a great game all around for the Flashes.
Yeah, definitely been something that we'll keep an eye on as the season ends, but of course, great game by them.
Yes.
Now, moving from the gridiron to the hardwood. Senior Delrico Gillespie was named MAC Player of the Week today. With just 5 games into the season, Gillespie has put up a double-double in all 5 and is tied for first in the nation with double-doubles. Over the weekend, Gillespie was able to hit a new career high with 30 points against Cleveland State on Saturday. On Sunday, Gillespie racked up 26 points and 17 rebounds against Wright State, making him a huge contributor for the Flash's 4-game win streak.
Basketball court, the Kent State women's basketball team hosted Niagara yesterday, in which the Flashes picked up their 3rd straight win, winning 92-45. Junior forward Janae Tyler led the way for Kent State, scoring 24 points on 8 for 13 shooting. Senior guard Deanna Gray also tacked on 10 points with a career-high 10 assists. Next up for the Flashes is a trip to Columbus for a Wednesday matchup against Ohio State at 6:30.
Now welcoming in Michael Filippo. There we
go.
Thank you for joining us, coming here to talk about Kent State basketball, men's and women's. Now I'm going to ask you the first question. If you were to look at both men's and women's teams, and obviously it's very early, but in conference play, where do you think they're going to go as they progress into their season into the MAC tournament?
I say they probably go to probably the second round.
Both
at
teams?
least. Yes.
Okay.
Both teams.
Yeah, I mean, it's early. However, both these teams had very high expectations going in. The men's team was ranked preseason 3rd in the MAC, and the women's team was ranked preseason 1 in the MAC. Kind of from what you're seeing early, do you think they're living up to their expectations, or do you think there's some more work to be done to kind of reach and validate that preseason ranking?
You know, that's what the non-conference games are all about. You know, you can see how good you are, and to be honest, I feel like the Kent State team, both teams or whatever, could probably make a good run. Be good in the conference and. Live their expectations. There's always room to improve.
Obviously, and especially for the women's team, starting off very slow offensively,
Yes.
Not getting the amount of points, and now, they're on a
3-game
win streak for the women.
Beat Xavier, big win for them.
Did a really good job. Now, I want to ask you, do you think the men's team, maybe even the women's team, how do you think they're going to, fight through adversity with their, obviously they won 3 straight. How do you think they can continue that momentum throughout the season?
By going to practice every day, and learn from the mistakes. Even if you win, there's always things to get better at, because sometimes wins are not pretty,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much,
Appreciate
Michael.
it.
Thank you.
For your time. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs traveled to Denver to take on the Broncos. We'll see what was up at Mile High Stadium when we come back.
Good morning. Hope you all had a good weekend and are ready to be inspired. One quick thing I want to remind you guys to be studying.
Major key alert. Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
Today we're talking about inspirational quotes.
You want to get that paper? You better turn in that paper and get an A+. That's a major key. Another one. Mogul talk. You want to reach the mountaintop? You got to go hard. To succeed, you have to believe. Stay focused. Fly higher than the eagle. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote from recent history?
don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at getschool.com.
Illicit fentanyl is the deadliest drug threat that our nation has ever experienced. We lost Leo when he was only 19, killed by fentanyl he didn't even know he was taking. He was my heart, my son.
My grandson. I wish you could have met him. Such a beautiful young man. Kind, smart, funny, sweet, a great kid.
Go to ladrfoundation.org to join us in the fight against fentanyl.
Thank you.
you.
Welcome back. My name is Lucas Foote. Week 13 is in the books for college football, and to recap the weekend, we will start in Columbus with the #1 team in the country, the UCLA Bruins, traveling to Columbus for the first time since September of 1999. Starting off, Bo Jackson running it in for the touchdown. Ohio State, without Carnell Tate, Jeremiah Smith, questionable to start the game, did not play the second half, but they were just fine. Julian Sayem rolling right, finding Bryson Rogers in the end zone for a touchdown. Ohio State takes a 17-0 lead, 1:26 left in the second quarter. Julian Sayin hands it off to James Peoples. Peoples running right, breaks a couple tackles, hurdles the defender, gets into the end zone. What a hurdle that was. Ohio State rolling all over the Bruins. Fast forward to the third, Ohio State up 34-0. Lorenzo Styles Jr., 103 yards from the end zone, takes it all the way back for a touchdown for the Buckeyes. Lorenzo told Ryan Day after the kickoff, once I took it, I knew I had to return it for a touchdown. That's exactly what he did. The first kickoff return for a touchdown by Ohio State since 2010 versus Michigan. 2 minutes to go in the fourth. It's James Peoples again. Finishes the night with 6 carries on 42 yards and a touchdown. Ohio State without Jeremiah Smith, but they cruise to a 48-10 victory.
What a game in Columbus. Now taking you to Vaught Hemingway Stadium where the Florida Gators visit the Rebels. Ole Miss coming in with only 1 loss. They're going to start off hot here with a key one Lacey touchdown. Sophomore had a big day, 7-0 Ole Miss here early. Now heading into the second quarter. Gators going to rush one in two. This is Jaden Baugh. 1 touchdown, 61 yards on the night for him. He had a good one. Field goal up, 14-10 Florida. Staying in the second, 3rd and 10. Trinidad Chambliss firing deep. Dazon Stribling going to go all the way 43 yards for the touchdown. Lead changes again, 17-14. Still staying in the second. DJ Lagway play action. Going to fire deep. J. Michael Sturdivich. He's got him. Lagway's only touchdown of the game, but a good one, 21-17 Florida. And what is happening, Ole Miss? Starting in the fourth quarter, each team scoring a touchdown. It's going to be a direct snap to Lacey. He'll take it in. Career high in rushing yards for him, 224 and 3 touchdowns, 27-24 Ole Miss, and Florida with one more chance here, and they will not get it. Lagway falls incomplete. Ole Miss will score one more time. They'll win 34-24 as this one ends here in Ole Miss.
And we're going to stay in the SEC as Heisman candidate Ty Simpson and the Alabama Crimson Tide take on the Oklahoma Sooners. And oh my goodness, Ty Simpson, just his 2nd interception of the year, and it's going to go all the way to the house. Eli Bowen for the 11th ranked Sooners going to fight his way into that end zone to put them up 10-0 in the first quarter. We're going to take it to the second now. Crimson Tide trying to get back into it. It's going to be Daniil Hill plunging his way into that end zone. 10-7 now. Sooners looking to respond, trying to maintain that lead. And John Mateer is just going to do it himself, and he is going to break multiple tackles and fall into the end zone. 17-7 now. Later in the second quarter, 3rd and 6. Simpson going to find Josh Cuevas for the touchdown. 17-14. Oklahoma would tack on a field goal to make it 20-14. And Alabama on the Wildcat to Hill, his 2nd touchdown of the game, making it 21-20. Fourth quarter here. And Tate Sendell, who I shouted out a few weeks ago, going to hit this clutch field goal to put him up 23-21. And Boomer Sooner, Oklahoma takes this one 23-21. A huge ranked SEC win as the Tide fall to 8-2. Oklahoma up to 8-2. Well, Lucas, we have so much college football action to get through, and I actually want to start on something that I feel like we might be able to get through pretty quickly. Ohio State, they've been #1 all year since, other than week 1, I believe.
Yes.
Are they the undisputed #1 ranked team in the country?
We're going to talk about this next, but after Texas A&M struggled versus South Carolina, having that unprecedented comeback, I think there's no question who's the top of Ohio State? It's either Ohio State or Indiana. Ohio State has barely struggled this season at all with any team, and we've seen Indiana struggle against teams like Penn State. And I think they're undisputed right now. No one can beat them at number 1.
Yeah, I mean, can we both agree on that?
100%. I mean, Julian Sand hasn't even passed that many times. Their offense is just so efficient. I mean, everything seems to be clicking for them. They've had, like you said, barely any struggles. Jeremiah Smith, 10 touchdowns, 900 yards already on the season. It's phenomenal, seriously,
yeah,
the season they're having.
It feels like it's the Heisman race as well. It's Fernando Mendoza versus Julian Sand. But we're going to move away from the Big Ten and head to that SEC matchup that you mentioned earlier. Texas A&M, South Carolina. Can you just kind of break down what happened there real quick?
I mean, 28-3 at halftime.
Yes.
Everyone's shocked. What is going on? And they win, 33 at halftime.
Yeah, I was going to say even worse.
And overcoming that 27-point deficit, the biggest in school history for Texas A&M, and to win that game, that's huge for their momentum going forward. But they have to keep going. But that also should scare some people. Because they're the only undefeated SEC team left, and you're struggling against a South Carolina team that, frankly, has been really not good this season.
Yeah, what are your takeaways from this?
Marcel Reed, what happened? 2 touchdown passes, 2 picks, with an offense that's averaging 37 points per game.
Did have a career-high 439 yards, though.
That is true, but they made him pass a bunch.
Yeah.
They totally ran away from the run game. I wouldn't say I'm incredibly worried. They have matchups with Samford coming up, Texas coming up. I think those are 2 big ones to watch, but I think those can be wins for a Texas Tech team, or Texas A&M, team that has been super efficient this year and top of a lot of different teams.
Yeah, I like this win for them. It was a tale of 2 halves. They were terrible in the first half, phenomenal in the second half. And this shows that this is a team that can persevere through adversity. And you want your team to be able to do that, because once you play harder teams, it's going to get more adverse. And to show that capability, obviously if you go down 30-3 to like Georgia, you're probably not coming back. But it shows that even if they dig themselves a hole, they can get right back out of it. Now, we do have 2 interesting SEC teams on the table right now. Alabama taking a loss, Texas also taking a loss. What do you see happening potentially for their playoff hopes going forward? Real quick.
So Alabama, I think, is in the best situation at 8-2. I think as of now, they are a playoff team. That win over Georgia in Georgia, huge. Obviously, that loss to Florida State week 1, that's a tough one. Looking at it now, Florida State struggled, but week 1, you can kind of ignore that. And then they lose to Oklahoma this past week. At home, that's a tough loss, but 8-2 still a good record. Win over Georgia is going to get you in. For Texas, though, 7-3. You win over Oklahoma. I feel like everyone in the SEC has beat each other pretty much, but you lose to Ohio State. Not a bad loss. Georgia, not a bad loss, but that Florida, that's iffy. And you have Arkansas and Texas A&M these next 2 weeks if you're Texas. Arkansas, that's whatever, you got to beat them. But if they beat Texas, I think we could see a 9-3 Texas team be in the playoff. But if they don't beat Texas A&M, their hopes are over.
Oh, absolutely, Evan.
All right, I'm just going to have to agree with you there, because seriously, Texas, I don't know, Alabama, for sure. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. Texas, Arch Manning has had some real ebbs and flows this year. He went from looking like one of the worst quarterbacks to now kind of looking very solid. It's going to be very interesting to see going down the stretch.
Yeah, well, that's all the time we have, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
The NCAA has proposed a rule change that, if passed, would allow athletes and staff to bet on professional sports. Division I schools have until Friday until the rule changes. Changed and prevented from going into effect on Saturday, November 22nd. This prevention opportunity comes after the numerous sports gambling scandals that have spread through the MLB and NBA.
There's only 2 more months of the regular season in the NFL as Week 10 comes to an end, and it did not disappoint. Joined by Matthew McConaughey and Ryan Mead, we'll break down what happened on Sunday beginning in Cleveland, Ohio. Heading to Huntington Bank Field, the Browns welcomed in the Baltimore Ravens 6-3 here, a bunch of field goals right now, and in the second quarter, Devin Bush is going to get the interception here, and he's going to take it all the way, making it 3-13. First of 2 interceptions thrown by Lamar Jackson tonight. It would be Derrick Henry, though, finding the end zone here. His 7th touchdown this season for the King, making it 10 28-13. We go all the way to the fourth quarter now. A couple more field goals being traded. It's a tied ball game, and Mark Andrews, 4th and 1, fake the tush push, spin out of it like he's playing power forward, and he races to the end zone for a 35-yard touchdown. But the Browns would have a chance, and it come down to Shedeur Sanders, not Dylan Gabriel, as he exited the game with a concussion, and Sanders would incomplete this pass. Ravens win 23-16. Sanders 4 for 16, 47 yards, and an interception in his first game in the NFL.
Taking it from one AFC North battle to the other. I call this the Unk Bowl. Aaron Rodgers, Joe Flacco ready to go for round 2. It's going to start first drive for Pittsburgh. Rodgers going to dump it off to Kenneth Gainwell. He's going to take it in for the touchdown. 7-0 Steelers early. This one's looking like a blowout here, so this will prove it a little bit further as Joe Flacco, the other older guy there, got plenty of time in the pocket. He's got T. Higgins on the right sideline with Jack Sawyer on him for some reason. So 7-6 Steelers. Bengals will go on to miss the 2-point. And how about this? Flacco is picked by Kyle Duggar, acquired in a trade with the Patriots 2 weeks ago. He's going to take it to the house, juking out Jamar Chase for the touchdown. Pick 6, 20-9 Steelers. Bengals are going to add on 3. Mason Rudolph in for the injured Aaron Rodgers, and that's Gainwell again, having a legacy game. 105 total scrimmage yards, 2 touchdowns, 27-12 Steelers. Now, Flacco's going to get the ball back here in the 4th, fires it to Noah Fant, and there goes the ball. The scoop and the score from backup cornerback James Pierre. What a story. Touchdown Steelers, 34-12. That's going to end it here. Steelers stay on top of the AFC North. Bengals season just about wraps.
Now in Denver, Colorado, the 8-2 Broncos will go to take on the 5-4 Chiefs as Bo Nix is going to hand this off to Jahleel McLaughlin, and he's going to have to fight his way into the end zone. Can he get a push? Yes, he can. The Broncos will take a 13-6 lead here in the 3rd quarter. Bo Nix had a great game with 195 passing yards in this one. And now Patrick Mahomes is going to take this snap here. He's going to hand this one off to Kareem Hunt. He's going to find a hole. Can he get his friends to push him in? And the answer is yes, he can. Touchdown. The Chiefs are going to tie the game here, 13-13, late in the 3rd quarter. Now Mahomes is going to take a shotgun snap. Can he find somebody? Yes, he can. Travis Kelce makes a man miss. Can he get to the end zone? Yes, he can. The Chiefs are going to take a 19-16 lead here after a missed PAT, and the Broncos will win this off a Will Lutz game-winning field goal.
Take you out to cold Buffalo, New York, as Baker Mayfield takes on Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills for the first time since 2023. In the 1st quarter, Josh Allen under center takes a snap. He's going to get a nice friendly push into the end zone. That puts the Bills up 7-3. Now into the 2nd quarter, Baker Mayfield will hand the ball off to Sean Tucker. He'll break it to the outside. He has a blocker in front of him. He lays out a guy, and it's off to the races. He breaks it loose for a 43-yard touchdown. That puts him up 17-14. Also in the 2nd quarter, just under a minute left to play, Allen will throw a screen to Ty Johnson, who uses his speed to get by defenders. Vita Vea giving chase, but it's not going to be enough as he gets into the end zone. Is that a hamstring? No, it's the touchdown, Sully. That puts him up 21-17 before half. Jumping to the 4th quarter, Mayfield looks right, goes right. He has Tucker again. Hop skips into the end zone, 32-31 Bucks. Josh Allen goes right, makes a man miss, shoulder down into the end zone, 37-32. Bills back up. Allen fakes the screen, makes a man miss. First down, he once more keeps the legs churning, gets a push and into the end zone. This game had 9 lead changes, but the Bills win this one, 44-32.
Well, Josh Allen putting on a show for Bills fans. You know, the MVP last year of the NFL. Now that we've entered a new year of the NFL, I just want to ask a simple question. Who is all your guys' MVP candidate while we have about, I think, 7 weeks left in the season?
Only a few more weeks left, but
who we got?
Well, I wanted to go with a little bit of a different approach because normally a quarterback wins the MVP, but Jonathan Taylor has looked absolutely unstoppable this year. He is on pace for just under 2,000 yards, and when you're going to win MVP as a running back, you have to get at least 2,000 yards on average. But what do you think, Evan?
Yeah, you know, I got to go with the old gunslinger Matthew Stafford, the former Lion, now the Ram. 27 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. I mean, it is phenomenal at his age. It is so impressive. He's going to in my opinion, I think he'll lead the Rams to the division win over the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Simply, I really think he does.
No, I mean, I agree. I have Stafford taking it right now. It would be great for his legacy, his career. It would solidify him as a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback, but I don't want to harp on that too much. We're going to take it to
You
Matthew.
two have Stafford. You have a running back. I went a second-year quarterback. I went Drake May.
Yeah.
You know, in just 11 games, he went 230 for 32, just over 2,800 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. He's not looking like a second-year quarterback. He's looking like a vet. You know, he's able to extend plays and make excellent throws out of the pocket.
Yeah, no, I mean, and the Patriots are amazing right now. They're leading the AFC East, and
Huge in the AFC.
Wins do matter in the MVP race. And speaking of the AFC, who do we all have taken a very tightly contested conference?
Well, I think I still got to go with the Patriots. I mean, they have looked really, really good this year. Compared to what they were last year, they were, you know, they had a top 10 draft pick last year. They have looked really good this year. They haven't really been tested in terms of their schedule, but they will get tested here eventually. But I think that they are really my team for winning the AFC. But what do you think?
Yeah, part of me doesn't want the Patriots to be back in the Super Bowl. I don't think anyone does. But everyone likes Drake May. Like, no one really hates him like they hated Tom Brady. You know what I mean?
Not yet.
Yeah. I'm going to go with a very safe pick here, the Colts. They've been really good. Danny Dimes, you know, he has had a few off games. One of the Steelers, I forgot the other one he had, but I know he had one.
The Rams.
The Rams.
He had 2 interceptions against the Rams.
He struggled in both of those games, but I think him with Jonathan Taylor, Alec Pierce, Michael Pittman on the outsides, they can really make a case in the playoffs. They can really go pretty far, but what do you have?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bills. Currently in a wild card spot. However, I'm looking at the playoff pedigree of a lot of these contenders. The Patriots don't have it. The Broncos don't have it. The Colts don't have it. So I see the Bills. If the Chiefs are not in the playoffs, they have to take that opportunity and run with it, especially because the Ravens and the Chiefs are really struggling this year. I believe that the Bills have the most playoff pedigree, and that matters when you get into that late season.
Yo, I went different route than you guys. I went the Broncos. Currently, they're leading their division. They had nice quality wins earlier in the season against teams that were healthy. The 49ers, Eagles, and the Giants. Giants, they had I think it was Russell Wilson was starting, and they had Scadaboo, and then they had a healthy 49ers team.
Yeah.
They beat them, and I just think if that Broncos team can play hard-nosed football, they're going to be a good playoff team.
Yeah, and real quick, we're going to go through for our last question here. Who gets the #1 overall pick?
Real quick, I have to go with the Raiders.
Okay.
What do you think?
Jets, suck.
Yes, Jets are terrible. Titans are pretty much bottom 10 in every single category imaginable. And Cam Ward, that nonchalantness is just not working out for him.
Sadly, my Cleveland Browns.
Wow. All right.
There's a lot of contenders for the #1 pick. Right?
Yeah.
A lot of 2-win teams, but you know who only has 1 win? The Tennessee Titans, and so I'm sticking with them. But thank
you guys.
both of you for joining us. We have more coming up as we're shipping up to Boston as the Celtics welcome in the Los Angeles Clippers. We'll take a look at that game and more NBA action as SportsCorner hits the hardwood.
Safe. We know how that turned out. Now, they say they didn't market e-cigarettes to teens? Fact, more than 1 in 4 high school students are vaping, and 80% say their first e-cigarette was flavored. Vaping is harmful to developing brains. The reason we think vaping is safe? Marketing. Same lies, different day. Tell Big Vape to quit lying.
How can you hate Star Wars?
Kung Fu Panda.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Here for a late night walk.
Yes.
Night walks around campus.
Oh
Not
I
bad.
always, you know, like the swing.
Student Center.
What?
Wait, care? You mean like healthcare?
CARES Center.
Student Center.
Where you can get support.
It has been an interesting week of football. Now, our own Stone O'Brien has a breakdown of some key plays that could give us some insight on the coming postseason. Stone?
Thanks, Evan. Welcome to another edition of Stone Sets It Straight. Today, we are in the film room list of performances that I want to spotlight. And we're going to start off with Myles Garrett. He's a business and he's booming. 4 sacks yesterday, 5 sacks against the Jets. And we're going to start off here. Third down here. Derrick Henry tries to get a block down. He's not able to. I can't blame him. It's Myles Garrett. He's there. We're going to take another look at this, and you're going to really see the defense get active here. Really just forcing the coverage sack almost, and they force Lamar back into Myles' way right here. Next play right here, this is a 1st and 10 play. Myles Garrett just bull rushes, and he just bullies him, and then Lamar just can't throw the ball away. Nothing there. It's Myles Garrett just being Myles Garrett. We're going to take another look here. He's right here, right by Isaiah likely. Should probably chip him there. But, I mean, again, he has the momentum, bull rush. And then we're going to pause right here. This lineman tries to get an arm on, but it's already tough when you're already blocking him. And then Lamar right here just tries to throw it away, hops, not really able to get it successful. Here, last one, nice little pass rush move. And this is just the line again, getting pressure, forcing them in there. And now we're going to move on to Josh Allen, who scored 6 touchdowns this weekend. And it's first right here. First play, simple play right here. Fullback goes in motion, just literally shoves him into the end zone. It's working well. He's celebrating, passes the ball to his lineman. We're going to pause right here, 3-by-2, and this is what's going to happen when you extend plays. Using his legs, running around, and he finds Tyrell Stevens for the touchdown. And here, look, everyone's covered, and the right guard is about to make a beautiful block right there. And just keep on extending that play, and then a beautiful ball over the safety. Nice throw there. This is the 2nd touchdown of the day. And now, little screen pass. And step up. That's all the time I have for today. For the Kent State Sports Network, I'm Stone O'Brien. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Stone. The NBA is once again being overtaken with injuries. But before we discuss that, let's start here locally in Cleveland, where the Grizzlies came to town. We got the Grizzlies at Cavs, as previously mentioned, at Rocket Arena. The Cavs are without some players, but we're going to start out here in the first, where it's Ja Morant to Zach Edey for a slam dunk. Ja Morant will miss most of this game with right calf soreness. Now we're going to go later into the first, where it's Santi Aldama. He hits a wide open 3 to extend the Grizzlies' lead to 6. Later in the second now, DeAndre Hunter is going to find Lonzo Ball, the new Cavalier for this season, as he hits a 3 to cut the Grizzlies' lead down to 3. Later in the third, Donovan Mitchell is going to miss a good look. After the ball is fought around for a little bit, it would end up in Jarrett Allen's hands, who slams it home to put the Grizzlies up 79-72. Now we're going to head to the fourth, where the Cavs are going to pass it around and find Evan Mobley, who would have 22 on the day. He hit a 3, and that's the Cavs down 78-85. Later it would be Donovan Mitchell, who else, with a huge 3 to give the Cavs their first lead since the first quarter. The Cavs would be up 91-90. Later in the fourth, once again, it's the right man in the right spot, Donovan Mitchell. Another huge 3, 99-92 Cavs. And this one's all but over, as Cedric Coward's going to find a 3, but it wouldn't matter as the Cavs win this one 108-100 without Ja Morant for the Grizzlies.
Definitely a good bounce-back game for Cleveland. Here is beautiful Boston, Massachusetts. LA Clippers coming to town. Celtics only 3-3 at home up until the game. First, Jaylen Brown assisted by Derek White for the jump shot, 9-2 Boston. Staying in the first, how about Peyton Pritchard? Beautiful 3, 30 total points on the night, 31-16 Boston. Heading into the second, razzle-dazzle passing leads to a Nicholas Batum three-pointer at the shot buzzer, cuts the lead 2-3. Second quarter now, Clippers going up the court, and what are they doing? Celtics still Jordan Walsh dunk, making an impact despite low points per game. 10-point game now, third quarter. And how about James Harden, the former 76er? Step back and jump shot 3, 5-point game again. Fourth quarter, Harden again. Pass to John Collins for the sinker, 10-point deficit. And Harden, Unk still got it with 2 seconds left. Cuts the lead to 1. One more chance for the Clippers. Pass to Harden is no good. It was so close. Let's watch that one more time as Harden gets the pass and just barely misses the basket. Boston's going to escape with this one, 121-118. Celtics now with 500 in the Eastern Conference.
Well, we're going to wrap things up down south in Houston, Texas, as the Rockets welcomed in the Orlando Magic. 10-point lead here for Orlando as Franz Wagner is going to knock down the 3, 29 for Wagner on the night. He'd look for a shot here, get blocked, but it would find the hands of Tristan da Silva, who'd lace this 3, 55-49 now in the third. And Anthony Black with the steal, some dribble moves, and the throw down. Anthony Black, a huge dunk. We go to the fourth quarter, though, where it is 92-81, and Alperen Sengun gonna hit that little spin move and slam it down 30 for Sengun on the night, 90-83. Now a 3-point game, and Kevin Durant gonna step back and nail this 335 for KD, 100-100, and we're gonna head to overtime. Actually, no, Houston, we have a problem. The turnover leads to the Anthony Black dunk, 18 for him, 102-100. Orlando looking to take this one, but they'd find Sengun in the paint. He'd hit the layup, and they'd take it 117-113 in overtime. Now, Josh, you mentioned the injuries, and a big one came out today. Victor Wembanyama dealing with some hamstring stuff, and he's said to be out for multiple weeks. What does this do to San Antonio, and how do they kind of maintain the momentum they've built at the start of this year?
Obviously, it's a huge loss. I mean, when you lose a player who, I mean, we could talk about Depoy, we could talk about MVP, we could talk about them both separately. How about both at the same time? Yeah. When you lose a player like that, obviously it's a big hit. I think an underrated part of this is the De'Aaron Fox trade from last year. I think that'll play a big role. Obviously, I think he's been a little overshadowed to start this year, but I think this is a good time for him to come out. What do you think, Maddox?
Yeah, I mean, De'Aaron Fox, he was missing some time with an injury of his own. Now he's back. He's had some up and down games, but I think the Spurs really like what they have in him, and I think now that Victor Wembanyama is out, they have to utilize him. It's going to be him.
Yeah.
It's who else is it going to be, Evan?
Castle.
Yeah, Stephon Castle.
Stephon Castle. I mean, you're averaging 119 points with Wemby in your lineup. Now it is who steps up and how. If these two players can step up in a good way, I think San Antonio can still win games. I think they have the defense to do it. Now it just, the question is really the offense. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting.
Big
but
question.
With one player down, another player comes back. Maybe not as impactful as Victor Wembanyama. No offense to, I would consider a legend. Paul George is coming back for the Philadelphia 76ers. Kind of give us your thoughts on that return.
I wish you guys could see my notes right now because I have heartbreak emojis all over this one with Paul George coming back in 2025. You said earlier, Unk still got it for James Harden.
Not this one.
Unk don't got it.
You light my fire, you light my...
I'm really worried for the Sixers that this is going to create a logjam with Edgecombe because he's played very well this year. Actually, if you look at the stats, last year Paul George averaged about 16 points a game, 5 rebounds and 4 assists. Edgecombe's really similar right now with 15 points, 5 rebounds and 4 assists.
He's a rookie.
Yeah. And I think that's much more important to get him the touches over Unk.
And Unk, his first season wasn't really that special by any means statistically, and Tyrese Maxey, I expect him to keep carrying that team. I know Paul George is in the lineup. I know, he's has all this experience, but Maxey's been on
He's been insane.
Recently. He's been awesome.
He's on a tear. Maxey's been absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
And my concern with Paul George is, passing has not been his specialty.
Yeah.
No. If this was a different older person, let's say it was Chris Paul coming back, I'm like, okay, Chris Paul's going to distribute the ball. He's going to pass the ball. Paul George is a pure scorer. And I will say, though, has been a very good defender in his career. He got a Defensive Player of the Year finalist when he was in OKC, so maybe that is something that he could contribute, seeing as his scoring has kind of taken some big dips over the past few years.
It's concerning that he probably won't want to pass the ball. It just feels that way.
Yes, it has been very concerning. And speaking of concerns, the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're winning, but what are some of the things that are going on in Cleveland?
The biggest one to me is Evan Mobley. If you look at his stats, right, they don't look too crazy. It's the efficiency and the eye test, honestly. His efficiency this year, his field goal percentage is down from 46.8%. Last year was 55.7. Now this is a slightly concerning one. His free throw percentage is down 10% too. Last year was 72. This year it's 62. And the defensively, the stats, there's nothing that points to it being wrong, but the eye test, it just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, Evan, you got some thoughts on Cleveland?
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell's still averaging 30 points per game. They struggled against Toronto, and it wasn't the best for them. But they were able to bounce back, as we saw in the highlight. Defense is just leaving guys open.
It's hard to talk about
every single
them
game
without mentioning the injuries, though, because that would be completely unfair to the Cavs in general. They have been without Garland almost all year. Strus as well hasn't played.
Yes.
I just think it's unfair to them.
Yes, but what matters is that they are winning.
They are.
We'd love to talk some more basketball, but that is all the time. Josh, thank you so much. We're going to take things to the ice now as the New Jersey Devils travel to the nation's capital, where they got a thrilling win over the Washington Capitals. We'll look at that game and more as Sports Corner goes on ice.
solo stage where the player spends most of it being hunted down by Infinite. The weapon that performed the best here was the Drill Wispen. Its ability to...
He finally is like, I get it now. I get it. I have worth because I'm me. And I really liked it a lot. Like, I'm not...
What are you staring at? How do you know it's me? No.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org.
It's been an exciting season in the NHL so far, and everything is still neck and neck. However, this week, recently, the National Hockey League went international as the Nashville Predators went to visit the Pittsburgh Penguins in beautiful Stockholm, Sweden. Just 2 minutes into the first, puck passed to Parker Weatherspoon. Danton Heinen on the screen, and Nick Perbitz is not helping. Heinen will dump it in off the screen, making it 1-0. A few minutes later, Kevin Hayes in the crease, pans to Evgeny Malkin, bounces it off Nicholas Haig's skate. What a beautiful goal from Malkin. Then, just 1 minute later, Chris Letang off Soros. And there we go, as you see, Sid the Kid, Sidney Crosby, dumps it in. That's going to be a 4-0 game for the Pittsburgh Penguins. A blowout for Sergei Murashov on his second ever start.
Never count out Sidney Crosby. Now heading to Capital One Arena. New Jersey Devils come to town facing the Washington Capitals. First period, Devils going to get scoring first. Arseny Griciuk on the score on the power play. Luke Hughes assisted there. 1-0 New Jersey. Later in the first period, Devils right back at it. Hughes is going to score his 11th goal on the year. Jesper Bratt, though, appeared to be injured on the play. He'll get checked out later in that game. 2-0 New Jersey. Third period, Alex Ovechkin, a great pass to Connor McMichael, who scores on the layup. Washington down 2-1 now. Now staying in the third, Ovechkin, puck around defenders, and he's going to take it in himself, and score 2-2. No other goals in the third, and it heads to a shootout, which Simon Nemec wins it 2-1. He's got it. Devils will win this one 3-2. Now number 1 in the Metropolitan Division.
And wrapping things up north, the Boston Bruins visited the Montreal Canadiens. 4-on-4 here in the first, and Marat Husnudivov is going to score on this one. David Pastrnak on the assist. 1-0 here, Boston. Boston on the power play, but a shorthanded goal by Jake Evans. 1-1 now here. Josh Anderson assisting. We head into the second, about 2 minutes in, and Mason Lohrei is going to score on this one. Mark Kastelic assisting. We head later into the second. Another Boston power play, and this time they would capitalize on this one. Victor Arvidsson scoring, Pavel Zaku on the assist. But Montreal would not go quietly, as on a 4-on-4, Cole Caulfield is going to score this one. Nick Suzuki assisting. 13th goal for Caulfield. He's tied for now second in the NHL. Unfortunately for Montreal, it would not be enough, as they would fall 3-2 on this one. This being the third straight loss for the Habs. Jeremy Swayman for the Bruins, 26 saves, as Boston picks up a big win over Canadiens team.
Now, Boston, pretty good team, you know, getting the wins necessary, getting the points necessary. We're going to talk about maybe teams that aren't doing as good. Maybe specifically, Seal, I know you have a lot of thoughts about the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Maple Leafs.
What is happening over there?
Quite frankly, it is hard to really say. If we're talking about original 6 teams, almost every other team in the original 6 is doing a lot better than expected. Bruins, obviously, as you just said. Rangers, kind of bouncing back. The Habs are doing incredible. The Blackhawks are doing way better than they were last year.
Yes,
100%. And the Red Wings also way better than expected. The Leafs, you cannot. Sure, they lost Mitch Marner, but really, really, you go from an 11-5-3 record at this point in the season to an 8-9-2 just because you lost Mitch Marner? Sure, Austin Matthews is injured, but it's only been a week, and he has not been playing great in the few games he's played. Obviously, they're great on offense, but they have a mediocre special teams, and their goaltending is just awful. They are doing. They have the second worst goals against average in the league right now, and their 4 goalies they've played have combined for a .883 save percentage. However, if we're going to stay in the East, I want to talk about the team that won the East last year, the Washington Capitals. This is what I'm going to describe as a mini meltdown from me, as we went from a team that won the East last year to a team that is bottom 5, bottom 6 in the league now. Obviously, they have an incredible defense, but they only have one player averaging a point per game, and their third best player is injured right now. Like I said, their defense is great. Logan Thompson, their goalie, is playing his butt off, quite frankly. But the tandem of Logan Thompson and Charlie Lindgren is not doing. Lindgren is not great. Lindgren is actively quite bad. And it's just players underperforming. Pierre-Luc Dubois and he's injured now, but in the 6 games he's played has registered 0 points after becoming an actual player for the first time in years on the Capitals for his first season there. And they have the third worst power play in the league and the 6th worst power kill after having the 5th best last year and the 13th best power play. I've flip-flopped that a little bit. Yeah. But the point being, they were so good last year and they've just completely dropped the ball. That's what happens when you don't make any changes in the offseason. Spencer Carberry won the Jack Adams last year, and he seems to be doing exactly the opposite of what won him that last year. He made big risky changes that worked, and their decision for this year, don't sign anyone, don't make any trades, their reasoning was to play the younger players, and then they just simply have not been playing the younger players. It has been.
Yeah, we should call Miller's meltdown Parker's meltdown with the way he's been acting.
Very quickly, you have 2 teams who are struggling immensely, who had a lot of success last year. Who do you see is more likely to dig themselves out of this hole?
I think the Washington Capitals, I think they have potential. If you look at their their super advanced stats, they're doing incredible there. They have a lot of potential if they can get their offense going. I think what it really comes down to, I think symbolically, is the shootout. If they can figure out the shootout, they can figure out everything else.
Well, let's hope they do.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. We appreciate it. Now, though the NHL season is well underway, the Professional Women's Hockey League is just starting up. Luckily, we have our own Lexi Blatnick to break down the league in the first ever Blatnick's Breakdown. Lexi?
I think we also just witnessed the first ever CO Stomp. Can we make that a thing? But that's right, Evan. The PWHL preseason began just last week. And during the offseason, many teams have seen roster musical chairs due to the expansion. Now, teams are waiting to see how the roster shakeup will play out. And lucky for you, I'm here to break it down. So the Minnesota Frost kicked the preseason off on Thursday in a 2-game contest against the New York Sirens. The 2-time Walter Cup champs took the first game, beating the Sirens 5-2. The second game fared better for the Sirens as they dominated the Frost 2-6. The Boston Fleet raised their anchors and traveled to the Montreal to take on the Victoire in a 2-game series. Now, the Fleet did most of the scoring, but Cheyenne Dark-Angelo evened the score with a mid-second period goal. And of course, Jessica DiAngelo was the one to find the back of the net 2 minutes into the extra period, sealing the deal for the Victoire. The Victoire would go on to win the series with a 2-3 victory at home. The 2 new additions of the league battled it out on Saturday and Sunday. Like the Frost and the Sirens, both teams won a game each. The Vancouver Golden Knights were the first to do so, shutting the Torrents out 0-3, but the Torrents did get their revenge as they beat the Golden Knights 4-2 a day after. And of course, last but not least, the Toronto Scepters were matched up against the Ottawa Charge, where the Charge would see an at-home sweep. And moving off of the ice and onto the pitch, the National Women's Soccer League Championship game is on November 22nd. But I am getting a little ahead of myself. Let me break down what went down for the teams to get to this point. Here's the picture. Headed into the playoffs, the Kansas City Current held the 1 seed in the playoffs. They had the best record in the league, donning a 21-3 record. The Currents were slated to play against the 8 seed Gotham Football Club. They also happened to be undefeated against the Gotham Football Club. Easy first round win, right? So wrong. The Gotham knocked the Current out in a 2-1 win that went into extra time. The hero of the night for the Gotham Football Club, Katie Stengel. She found the back of the net 2 hours into the game. After that, Gotham defeated the Orlando Pride 0-1, punching their way into the championship. Jaden Shaw was the hero of that game, making a penalty kick and avoiding extra time for her team. Now, that brings me to my NWSL Championship predictions. The Gotham Football Club is facing the 2 seed Washington Spirits. The Spirit holds a 12-6 record as opposed to Gotham's 6-6. Now, the Spirits seem like an obvious pick. They're the highest seeded team, and their win column is literally double the Spirits. But I wouldn't count the Gotham FC out just yet. The team's star forward, Trinity Rodman, is suffering an MCL sprain. In 16 games, Rodman has notched 5 goals, 2 assists, and holds a 62% accurate passing rate. Another stat concerning that forward, the team has only won 5 games without her. Another reason not to count the Gotham out, their core players are healthy. As I mentioned before, Jaden Shaw is on a hot streak when it comes to playoff goals. Shaw has been involved in some way or another in all 3 times Gotham has scored. Additionally, Gotham has forward Esther Gonzalez. In the 24 games she's played, Gonzalez has scored 13 goals. With that being said, give me the underdog. I have the Gotham Football Club taking it all. Now, as I mentioned, the championship game is set for November 22nd at 8 p.m. You can tune in on CBS or Paramount Plus. For the Kent Stater Sports Network, I'm Lexi Blatnick.
Coming up, we look at potentially the meltdown of the year, and Evan breaks down fantasy football's biggest flops and top performers.
Can you help me?
Mom, Dad, we're going out.
Thank you.
Oh, look, they're playing chess.
What you got there?
Will you help my mom?
She's real sick, huh? Hey, crew, I'll give the first move to anyone who signs up to be an organ donor. How do you do it?
Easy. Just go to organdonor.gov.
You heard him, organdonor.gov.
More donors means more hope. Sign up at organdonor.gov.
Roll over. Chance high five. All right.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique.
And your mother and...
I am totally a hat person. Right, guys? Thanks for being honest. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org.
Hey there, welcome to
Kent Core.
Kent Core.
Kent Core.
Kent Core. To Kent Core.
Welcome back to the program as we head into our segments of the week. But before we burn up here on the Sports Corner, I'll give you your fantasy update of the week. Well, folks, there's only a few more weeks left of Evan's End Zone, and there really wasn't too much to look at this week. All is well, though, because there were still a few players that turned my head in a good and bad way. Starting with one of my overperformers of the week, I wanted to shout out wide receiver Christian Watson of the Green Bay Packers, who won a nail-biter against the Giants yesterday afternoon. Just coming off IR a few weeks ago, Watson has made an immediate impact to the passing game. Did I bench him? Yes. Was it a mistake? 100%. Despite getting only 20 fantasy points this week, Watson had 2 touchdowns on 4 receptions for 46 yards, getting the game-sealing touchdown. I expect Watson's production to continue as the Packers have been riddled with injuries on offense as of late. Another overperformer for me was for sure the rookie from Ohio State, running back Travion Henderson. The Patriots had a super quiet start to the season, but now that Mike Vrabel likes to play his better back, the Pats are seeing success. Henderson now has 2 back-to-back 28-plus point games, this week getting 32 points on 19 rushes for 62 yards and 2 touchdowns, also notching a receiving touchdown. The Patriots are doing a great job as a team right now, and I expect that to continue. We're into the second half of the year. My underperformer this week is Justin Herbert, who had a shaky win against Pittsburgh, registering 2.3 points in the loss against the Jaguars this week. He only threw for 81 yards and a pick, and the Jags figured him out well, as he registered a QBR 44. Now, they need to go on a run, potentially take the AFC West as well. But one player I do want to see well is Lamar Jackson. Now, I know it's basic, but his performance against the Cleveland Browns was simply unacceptable, and not enough people are talking about it. Please, Lamar, you're playing the Jets. If you don't get a good amount of points, I really don't know what to say.
Well, thank you, Evan. I'll have you know, quick fantasy update. I am losing once more. However, quick meltdown here. We head to the SEC. South Carolina, we talked about earlier, they were up 30-3 on Texas A&M, and they didn't score after halftime. Absolutely embarrassing. Lenore Sellers was a Heisman candidate heading into this year, and now he only has 9 passing touchdowns to 6 interceptions. They also blew a 22-14 lead against Alabama in the fourth quarter, so if you play for South Carolina, you don't know how to maintain a lead. Now, I really liked Sellers, but it just seems like he has tanked his draft stock over this season, which is unfortunate. This Texas A&M game did him no favors. However, South Carolina is absolutely terrible right now. They only have 3 wins, and they were one of the hottest teams heading into the college football season this year. People had a lot of stock bought into them, but it seems like nothing has worked out, and this Texas A&M game was a true culmination of failure from South Carolina. Carolina has a lot of work to do. I don't believe they fired their head coach. Texas A&M, though, is a really good team, but 30-3, it's worse than 28-3, and it's arguably one of the worst blown leads I've ever seen anyone commit. It's up there with Colts-Vikings, the Colts blowing that massive lead to the Vikings a few years ago. In the college ranks, though, this is absolutely miserable from South Carolina, and as a Gamecocks fan, I would imagine that you are feeling really, really bad right now, as Sellers will be gone next year, and you truly have to start from ground zero next year. So, South Carolina, I don't really know what to say. I'm kind of just meh on you as a whole. Stop being bad.
All right, well, thank you, Maddox. But before we say goodbye tonight, we do have a birthday. And please, everyone say happy birthday to our camera operator, Addie Allen. It is her birthday. Please tell her happy birthday. All right, I hear cheering. There we
Happy
go.
birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, come on,
there we go.
come on.
Thank you, guys. All right, well, with that being said, that'll do it for this edition of Sports Corner. Thank you so much for watching.
For updates from us 24/7, head over to KentStater.com and be sure to tune into Overtime right here every Friday at 7 p.m. I'm Maddox Miller.
And I'm Evan Schofield, saying from the opening play to the final call, the Kent Stater Sports Network covers it all. Good night.
If you love them enough to drive an hour to cheer them on as they get beat 11-0 in the rain, then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the-right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Throw that ball, Diane. Woo! You got this.
Is it okay over there? Is that good?
Jackie boy, look, we have been through a lot together.
Hurry up before this rain, this rain goes away.
Well, it's just,
There's a place to share gossip about the office party fun, and a place to share the story you tell everyone. There's a place to share a laugh about when things went wrong, and a place to share the video of you dancing to your song. There's a place to share spare change, lunch, and your time. But we could all be better at sharing how we're feeling inside. 76% of employees have struggled with at least one issue that affected their mental health. When you share, you're not alone.
The FDA asks questions like, is this drug safe? Does it work the way it should? Is it high quality? Do its benefits outweigh its known risks? Find the answers at fda.gov/drugs.